Since this is for me, I don't think anyone would care that this is whatever you call this, portrait mode. Yeah, portrait mode instead of landscape. This is for me documenting, and uh, one of the problems I went through, or blips, or bumps in your life, I guess. Mentioned that I went with business partners, with someone 50-50 on a product, and I wanted to go through there. Well, he thought about it and then he said no, even though before he said yes. And I don't blame him. I completely agree with him because I haven't done anything. I haven't done shit with him, so I deserve what I'm getting. But that doesn't change the fact about how I felt. And even though I knew logically, like it made sense and everything, you still feel something. I felt like it's called the oh shit. I should have probably looked it up or something, or actually thought about it before I started the video. But it's called, Charlie Munger's called it the super deprival. Oh, the deprival super reaction syndrome. Kind of like it's explains the bias we have of valuing something so much more of because we get it for a little bit and then it's taken away. It's kind of like if you buy a lottery ticket and you really think you're gonna win, and then when you don't, you feel like super upset. And it's like you never won the lottery, but you kind of believe that you did. Does that make sense? It's like believing that you have something that you don't. And then when it becomes obvious that you don't, then you feel super bad about it, even though you never had it in the first place. Weird. I don't know how I got over that. I think it helped that I was logical about it, and I was able to think it through and be like, yeah, there's nothing unfair that he's saying about that, about what's happening, because I haven't given any value and I recognize that. But even then, there was, I think, like, it took me half a day. It was like, he told me, like, at the beginning of the day, kind of. And then it took me, well, by the time I slept, I was over it. Oh, I wrote it right here. I was so upset, I actually wrote on a piece of paper, logically outlining what happened and everything. So, deprival superreaction syndrome, huge bias, how to get over it. I wrote, change your perspective, and oh yeah, put yourself in Jazz's position. So it's like, okay, if I built a business and I've been working on this recipe for, well, I guess I told you who the guy was, whatever. I love the guy. Still have huge respect, and I kind of still see him as a mentor. So, with that being said, put yourself in his shoes. I believe that, in this video I have to cut it really short because it's no memory on my phone. But put yourself in this position. So I thought, okay, well, if I spent 5 years working on the recipe and figuring it out, I don't really have the shipping done, but that's my responsibility, and the packaging and all this stuff. And I can kind of make my own website in the first place. I don't need a guide to make a website. And I don't value it. Like, for me, probably the value I would give it is like maybe $400-$600 more, because he paid $200-$300 for the theme and hosting. So yeah, that's how I got over it, just by stepping through that and knowing in the long run that we are going to be business partners, because I will prove it. I don't want to be entitled. I want to earn it. And Charlie Munger said it best. You get what you deserve in the world, with time. So time will tell. and it's time for me to go. So, bye.